Bada bing, bada boom. We're back. Gonna switch it up today. Do something a little bit more fun, a little bit more childish. I always got a little child in me. There's no shame in my game, but gonna look at some draft classes. All right, so we're gonna pop off like one a day for the next 13, 14 days, whatever it is. And we're gonna start with the 2013 draft class. Now that's the oldest, easily accessible draft class that I could get. And we're just going to look at these guys. We're not super into the details. All right. We're not going to get crazy into the specifications of their expectations or team fit or blah, 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 or value at the position they were drafted. Rather, we're just going to look at who was good and who was bad. Starting off at one, we got Anthony Bennett, worst first pick of all time. Yeah, you thought. Not Greg Oden. It's not Kwame Brown. It's not anybody else. It's Anthony Bennett. Nobody thought he was going to go top three. There was no threat of him being taken, second, third, fourth. I mean, the whole league thought he was going fifth, sixth, or seventh. This is a guy that was a project player, but also a low floor somehow. I'm confused. Like, I'm not sure what people saw in him. Absolute bust of a pick. Complete lapse of judgment by the management. We got our second pick, Oladipo. Oladipo was nice. Now, I know his career got cut short by injury. We're actually going to put him at great. He was an all-star. In fact, he took prime LeBron to Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals with a crappy Pacers team. Now, they did have Domantas Sabonis, who was pretty good at the time, but that was a really crappy team in the grand scheme of things, and he balled out that series. He totally carried. Third pick, and by the way, that was the Magic. Third pick, the Wizards picked Otto Porter. Now Otto Porter, strange case. He never took that next step that people thought he was going to take. But he was exactly what the Wizards drafted him to be. A long wing, decent defender, really good shooter, and for that, good. I'll put him at good. Alex Lynn, same type of thing in a big form. Obviously, not a shooter. Just a very solid big, like a backup big. Now, you don't really want him starting, and I think he had to start for probably way more, games than he should have, whether it was for the Hawks or somebody else. I believe he was drafted by the Suns. So he was the fifth pick. I actually skipped over Cody Zeller. We'll go back to him. So Alex Lynn at the fifth pick to the Suns, he bounced around the league. He was just an average center. You know what I mean? Average center. We're going to put him in May. Cody Zeller, it's a tough call because he could go May or bad. You know what I mean? Like, he was an average second, third string center, bounced around the league. When he did start games, it was rough. I'm not going to lie. He's bad. CJ McCollum, nice. You want to know something? 2012, Ricky Dame, LaMarcus Aldridge Blazers, they're nice, right? They're doing really good. And then they have some injuries a little bit before midway through the season. And then they get past midway through the season, and, their record's not looking so good anymore. And they still have their pick, which they hadn't had their pick in the past couple of years other than the Dame. And so the last 15 games of the season, yes, 15 games of the season, they lost every single one. Not a single win, not even a close loss. They lost every single one. Probably the best tanking job in NBA history. And got a CJ McCollum who led us to Western Conference Finals and all that. Listen, I know in some draft classes and actually many, he probably wouldn't be top five. He never made an all-star. Oladipo actually did. No doubt, if you know ball, McCollum's way better career than Oladipo and much better player, to be quite frankly, even though Oladipo's peak for that 1 year was technically a lot higher. So anyway, we got, that top five. At 6, Nerlens Noel was drafted. Sorry, I'm looking over at my sheet. I got my list of names. He was drafted to the Pelicans and shipped to the 76ers. Now, even though Alex Len and Cody Zeller for the time were actually considered mobile bigs, Nerlens Noel was like kind of different. You know what I mean? Like, this was something the NBA hadn't seen before, a big who was like truly mobile and could really run the floor and attack the basket with a diversity of footworks and shots and all that type of stuff. So this was a guy who really was thought to, highly of. People thought he was going to be a really, really, really good player. Where are you at, Nerlens Noel? My bad. I just started looking for dreads. Did I already put him up here? Here he is. He's down here. Obviously, I have seen or heard of him. The truth is, he was bad. Yeah, he was just bad. Like, he was just truthfully bad. The only thing he could do on a decent level, and it's not relative today, only, to 2013 standards, is he was kind of a switchable defender, right? Like, he could guard forwards, he could guard, bigger guards and obviously centers. So that was the one thing, like, since 2013, since his rookie season, the only reason he's bounced around the league or ever had a job was for that reason. He's a switchable defender, and that is extremely valuable in today's league. 7, we had Ben McLemore. Now, this is a guy that I think a couple years ago, and in my timelines get mixed up, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, he had kind of a resurgence with the 76ers, just shooting the piss out of the ball. And that's what he was drafted to do. He was drafted to the Kings. And out of everybody we talked about so far, let me find my boy, my bad. Ben McLemore. Here he is. Out of everybody we've talked about, this is probably like the most polarizing player. You know what I mean? As far as, like, some people thought he was going to come in the NBA and, like, 3 years into it, just be burning, like, averaging 25, which is the equivalent of 35 today. And then, it was also the opposite. Like, people thought he was just going to be a complete bust, that he couldn't do anything but shoot. And for that reason, he just wasn't going to be viable in the league. And I would say the truth is somewhere in between, but it's not. I mean, they were right. They were right. When the shot wasn't falling, it wasn't pretty. And the problem was, it was either a 8 for 10 type of game, or it was like a 0 for 8 type of game. And it's all threes, tough, usually tougher threes, not easy shots. And so this is a guy that, if you don't find pretty quick success and start to get some confidence, momentum into your career, you're going to dwindle out quick. And he did. At 8, we had KCP. Let's see, where's my boy at? Where's my boy, KCP? I mess with KCP. He's chill. He's super cool. Am I tweaking right now, y'all? Hold on. Oh, here he is. Honestly, we're going to put him at good. I mean, this is a very good player. He's a championship player, obviously. But there's a reason that, like, competing and contending teams always go for him, whether it's the Nuggets or the Lakers. Like, teams who need a guy who does the intangibles, the small things, but will also hit shots, this is who you're looking for. It's this guy. And he almost kind of has his own archetype in the league now. There are guys that are KCP-esque in the sense that, like, they may start, they may not, but, like, you're getting them to play a role, and they just do that amazing every night. Now, they may be terrible at a couple other things every night, but, because that's consistent, you can make up for that. So KCP, 8, he went to the Pistons. That was a pretty good pick. I think they had that was like Andre Drummond, Reggie, what was his last name? Reggie White? Nah. You know what I'm talking about. Low point guard, real quick, twitchy. At 9, we had Trey Burke. I'm not even going to lie, my boy. Other than, like, I haven't seen a Trey Burke highlight tape in a minute. And so Trey Burke, I believe, is this guy. That's crazy. That's crazy. I know, because I know Trey Burke's nice. I promise. I've watched plenty of his film. I watched plenty of his handles and handle breakdowns and highlights and, like, some of his footworks and stuff. Like, I promise, but it's been a minute, right? That was what, Michigan? And so that was a minute ago. Obviously, I wasn't even watching it then, but, I've watched it since. But I'm far removed from that. Obviously, I'm not going to put him at horrible. Trey Burke, meh. Yeah, meh. And we're going to put Cody Zeller up to meh. He's definitely earned that right, just relative to everybody else. At 10, we had CJ McCollum. I already put him up there because for some reason I was in a rush. I didn't even mean to do that. But, yeah, heck of a player. One of the best players in the draft for sure. MCW, where you at? Right here, big old smile for the Magic. Michael Carter-Williams, wow. His rookie year is like an all-time rookie year. I think he averaged 17 and 6 in his rookie year efficiently. Now, he couldn't shoot the ball to save his life, other than a few games where he went crazy. But he just did everything. He did everything. And by the next year, his handle looked sloppy. He couldn't finish. He was scared to pass because he was instead of anticipating and looking to make plays, he was scared. He was trying not to make turnovers, and his defense started to crumble, and his value went away. But his rookie season was polarizing because this is like the first time we really seen a tall, lanky guard like this move like that and be this dynamic. Truthfully, he's tough because he could go in the May, but I think bad because, I mean, you can have one or two good seasons, but if you take that and you don't build off that and you just kind of live on the end of a roster for the rest of your career, I don't know. I ain't got much to say for you, my brother. Steven Adams went at 12. Now, I do want you to think about what the Thunder would look like, or even just that one, era of the Thunder would look like if they had drafted Giannis. Giannis is the next pick. Steven Adams is a great pick and an amazing player as far as like just a NBA, not even a journeyman, but like a guy that has been very good in the league for a long time. Right. And I'm going to put him at great because we have to understand when he was in like the Russell Westbrook era, this was a widely considered top 10 center and mostly considered top 5. Now, it wasn't fun. It wasn't flashy, right? He's giving you the best screens in the NBA, and he's a lot of his impact came off the stat sheet. It came from intangibles and gravity, and I'm talking defensive gravity, obviously, not shooting gravity. And so this was an amazing player and just a super efficient, 12 to 14 points a night off rolls, lobs, and dunker spots. And, it's actually crazy how good and effective he was last year in the playoffs. Steven Adams, nobody heard his name the entire regular season, and he just showed up in the playoffs and was hooping. And so let's keep an eye on that this year, see if that happens again. But just an awesome player. Can't help but wonder what would have happened if Giannis was on that team. You know what I mean? If Giannis did end up going to the Thunder, because he went in the very next pick. Obviously, he's not May. He's top 5. We're even going to move him up one. So Victor Oladipo is definitely going to end up moving up. We will see as we continue. We're going to try to speed things up a little bit. 14, Rudy Gobert, and then we're just go. All right. So 14, Rudy Gobert, definitely one of the best picks. This is a guy that, like, if you're the Jazz, I know technically they did end up parting with him, but what? They got 5 or 6 years of like in a top tier center. I mean, that's a great pick. And if the picks that they actually got for him from the Wolves was immeasurable, insane. Nobody expected him to be worth that, and it shows a clear disparity as far as like, GM's perspectives on like value, right? And that's a big problem and a big reason for a lot of the hesitancy you see when it comes to the trade deadline or free agency or what's going on with the Warriors or any specific team, is that like nobody really knows where people's value is because nobody's willing to, base it off their own judgment. That has to be based off of a predecessor or a precedent, And so that's a problem, right? That's a huge problem. But overall, Rudy Gobert, great pick. Let's get through the rest of these guys. Allen Crabbe. Meh. Nah. Bad. Reggie Bullock. Meh. I forget my boy's name, but he plays on the Heat. Dwayne Dedman. Meh. Yeah. Dennis Schroeder, definitely good. Almost great if you think about like, he has had some amazing seasons. And he is consistently a name that is making an impact. He's considerably great. Tim Hardaway, great, very great career. Kelly Olynyk, good career. I don't like you. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like watching you hoop. I don't like the way you stand or look or the way you talk. I can't help it. I don't want to, but it is the way it is. I think this guy for the Thunder, I believe that's Nick Stauskas. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just seeing a white guy and throwing a name out there. Bad, Tony Snell could be good. I mean, he's been a decent, like somewhat role player in specific years at times. My boy, is that Delhi? Yeah, Delhi was good. And matter of fact, Reggie Bullock, you were good too. I don't know who this is. Not going to lie. Do not know who that is. Robert Covington, very good player. From now that I'm looking at this, I mean KCP's got to go up to great. He's got championships. He's got rings. You know what I mean? Now we're getting into business, boys. Now we're getting into it. Seth Curry, a solid player. Meh. Is that Evan? No. This is a dude that played for the Thunder who just cannot shoot a lick. That he dates Rachel Demita. I forget Buddy's name. Andre Roberson. Yo, Andre Roberson in 2K was cheeks, but terrible. Worst 2K player of all time. My boy right here, never heard of you. Oh, why did I put Andre Roberson and never heard of you? Technically, meh. Yeah, technically. No, this is Trey Burke. I don't know who I was talking about was Trey Burke. That's Ish Smith. No, that's not Ish Smith. Man, these little guards, they all look alike. I think that's Ish Smith. He was good. I'm not going to lie. Trey Burke, the actual Trey Burke, possibly the actual Trey Burke. I'm not really sure. Definitely heard of him. We're going to go meh. He's been a solid backup point guard. There's a reason he's on a roster. Is this Campazzo? I believe this is I can't remember his first name. Feku, something. Campazzo. Meh. Yeah. My boy right here. I know you. But not enough. Lakers dude. I know you too. But not enough. Daniel Tice, good player. Very good player. Not very good, but good player. Mason Plumlee at the very front of meh. That's where you go. For sure, ski. Actually, matter of fact, Daniel Tice goes down. Alex Len goes up. And you got to understand this good is just like top-tier role players. These guys were top-tier role players. Ish Smith, Alex Len, Rocco, Reggie Bullock, Deli, Kelly Olynyk, Otto Porter, top-tier role players. Daniel Tice, tough, man, tough. Yeah, I'll keep you there. My boys right here, buddy right here. Yo, am I tweaking or is that Kendrick Nunn? Am I tweaking? No way. Kendrick Nunn was like young a couple years ago, so there's no way. In fact, I know his face. I definitely know his face, but cannot think of it for the life of me. My boy right here, definitely know your face. He was on the roster for a long time. Don't know you, though. So, yeah, that's our 2013 draft class. Let me know what you think. Oh, it says top 5. I got to put somebody in the top 5. I feel you. Great, I guess. If anybody had to move up from great, it'd be Rocco and Otto. There we go. This is what we're looking at for that 2013 draft class. Terrible draft class, right? It's funny. Not a single one of one of these top 5 guys, one of the top 5 guys actually went in the top 5. In fact, only 2 of them actually went in the top 10. Incredible. It really just goes to show, like, guys, these guys who are pulling the strings, whether it's the coaches or the GMs or the people in the front office, like, you overestimate them. There's not a secret potion or formula that they're using. There's no degree that they've got that, allows them to know how many second-round picks Otto Porter Jr. is worth in the 2014 offseason. All right? And so, it's all subjective in a way, and in a way it's not. You got to be able to see through the subjectiveness. But, yeah, this is a crappy draft class. CJ, nice. Got a couple gems in here. A couple really, really solid role players and journeymen, but overall, this is going to be a lot more boring of a draft class than some of the ones we'll look at. So catch up with you in the 2014 one. We might get that one out. We might push that one out today, and then, kind of hit one a day for the foreseeable future. So 2013 draft class, we're going to give, by the end of it, we'll actually rank the draft classes. And so 1 through 10, we're going to give each one kind of a rating. I give this one, and this is important because everything else will be based off of it. I give this one, I give it a 5. Like, Yeah, I give it a 5. It's not god awful. It's not terrible, but it's not good. I almost want to give it a 4. We'll stick with 5. Appreciate you tuning in. Had a little fun. And yeah, new one coming soon. Peace.